Hey guys, Disloader Magic here, and remember the golden rule of my channel is if you make a stupid offensive shot at me in a video, I'm gonna make one right back at you. In fact, it'll probably be a whole damn video, if not a series. Oh, and that goes triple if you're pushing false information. So, Kevin from Rogue Deckbuilder, which is a channel similarly sized to mine, he made a video yesterday whining like a toddler for 13 minutes, just raging about the fact that Wizards made a huge, immensely needed, super intelligent, nearly perfect decision to change the way that MTGO statistics are reported. So, obviously, spoiler alert, Kevin is completely 100% wrong, just missing the mark, and it's because, as he's proven many times in the past, he has no idea what's going on in the community, the game, the meta, anything. It's like he doesn't even play Magic. He's completely disconnected from it. I don't understand it. So the thing about Kevin is he's not just on the fence about rogue deck building versus Netdecking. He's like on the fence with like 1 foot touching each side, just playing both sides to have double the audience, honestly, which is ironic because we have almost the same number of subs, and I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I'm kind of anti-Netdecking. I kind of pulled the trigger on my decision on that one. So in tons of videos, he says something to the effect of like, oh, Netdecking is part of the game, and people who hate Netdecking are just dumb, and they don't get it, and it's always going to be part of the game, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then, you know, on the flip side, there's the name of his channel. And he's made it very, 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 very clear in certain videos. He's kind of let it slip what he really thinks of Netdeckers. And yeah. Like one whole video was complaining about how he's so pissed off that he's forced to Netdeck because there's only 1 or 2 decks that he can play. You know, basically Saheeli Rai or whatever the hell the other one was. I already blocked it out of my memory, obviously. He's like, oh, I love building. I hate Netdecking. I love building new decks, and there's zero room to innovate because these 2 decks can't be beaten. Well, he was 100% correct there, but hello, you just said there's nothing wrong with Netdecking. I thought you're wholeheartedly into Netdecking, but no, he's just covering so that his, you know, Netdecker fans or whatever don't stop watching his channel. I personally could care less. I know what it does to the game. It's toxic. It's the worst thing in all of Magic next to lands. I'm not afraid to speak the truth about it. Apparently neither is Wizards in this article, so yeah. Oh, and in past interviews, anytime I've ever seen the staff commenting on it, ever, they say something to the effect of, like, the game was better before the internet and before Netdecking became so prevalent, before the format could get solved in, like, a week or whatever. They've all kept it pretty polite, but it's clear they're very pissed off about the state of Netdecking and the amount of information sharing, which is why they just made a change to MTGO statistics reporting. And this one isn't like, we need to stop Netdecking. This is, we need to stop people from being so damn stupid and publishing misleading information. That's what it comes down to. So the funny thing is, if I counted correctly, they explain this 7 different ways. 7 different ways in the same article, and Kevin still doesn't get it. Good Lord, I don't even understand that level of stupidity. I just don't. How somebody could be this, like, far out in left field, oh my God, it's just mind-blowing. So before I get into why he's wrong, here's the announcement they made, and this is huge. I'm going to do my best to explain it, except I don't have to at all because Wizards already did. So they said, over the history of Magic Online, we have published a steady stream of deck lists for players to explore and learn from, but the way we do that has changed over time. Our current method for presenting deck lists for MTGO leagues is to randomly select 10 of the top performing deck lists per format per day. Now, the top 10 decks every single day, every 24 hours, like, that's kind of a lot, by the way. So they said, starting July 10th, we will be reducing the total number of top deck lists being presented per day from 10 to 5. Honestly, not the biggest deal. But then they also said, and each of these deck lists will be randomly selected with the caveat that each list will be at least 10 cards different from every other list. Now here's the problem. They keep saying top, most winning, statistics, win percentage. And then they say random. Well, are you randomly picking them, or are they the top decks? That's what I'm confused about. Apparently they're confused about it. I assume they mean randomly picking from a pool of the highest performing decks. Because, I mean, why would anything else be true? So I guess it's somewhere in the middle. Anyway, they have a giant header in all caps that says, why? Well, in fact, it's in all caps. It's like, why? Why? But maybe not that dramatic. But it is in all caps. I mean, I don't know, somewhere in between probably. So let's just read it. There are plenty of reasons that we think posting deck lists is an excellent idea, and it is something we intend to continue doing. Deck lists give players a general sense of what an environment looks like, and everyone loves seeing a sweet new brew or an interesting adaptation to an established deck. So in other words, that's a very subtle shot at netdeckers. It's more like everybody should enjoy a sweet new brew instead of just, oh, what's the top deck? Cool, I'll build that. Done. Wizards doesn't like that. The staff has said that on many occasions. They do not like wholehearted net decking where it's just, I have to run the best deck. I have to win. I don't care about anything else. Don't care about money. Don't care about the amount of fun anybody else at my LGS is having. Don't care about new players leaving the game. It's just about me winning and running the top deck, period. That's a net decker. Somebody who's like, I saw this on a YouTube channel or on a forum or on Reddit, and it looked like a cool deck list. I like those colors and I like the mechanic. It looked like it would be fun to play and it looked powerful, so I built it. That's not net decking. That's just somebody who doesn't like building decks and wanted something to play with. They are fun-oriented, but still obviously aren't going to go 0-5 on purpose at F&M. That's not a net decker, okay? Net deckers, it's a mentality. It's not even an action. It's their mindset. Anyway, Wizards goes on to say, players want to know what they should be gearing up to beat so they can build or select their decks. Yeah, don't you wish? More like players want a list of the top decks so that they can zoom right to number 1, build it, and then have the highest chance of winning. I would say overall, probably 1/3 of all players fit in that category. They're lazy, they're entitled, you know what I think of net deckers and what they're like, okay, at this point. So then they go on to say, with all that said, the way we've been presenting deck lists for Magic Online is particularly prone to pushing metagames towards becoming homogenous or solved extremely quickly. Since we have been presenting a random selection of top performing decks, there's the contradiction almost in line in a sentence. Random selection of top performing decks. Is it the top decks that have the highest winning percentage, or is it random? It can only be one of the two. I think they're just overall lying. I mean, maybe they take a pool of 10 and then shave it down to 5 or something. Either way, it's the top decks. I mean, let's be honest. Anyway, the whole sentence, because they kind of contradict this later, is since we have been presenting a random selection of top performing decks, even if a deck doesn't have a particularly high win rate, it can appear to be extremely dominant if it's widely played. With only this information, it is not possible to disentangle win percentage and metagame percentage. That is important. This can lead, and at times has led, to feedback cycles where a deck appears more dominant than it would otherwise, which leads to an even greater percentage of play. So here's what they actually mean. They're trying to keep it concise, and most people already know this happens, but to fully explain it, here's how it goes down. Day 1, 2, or 3 after a new set comes out on MTGO, people play it, 10,000 games go on, we'll say, and then, okay, you got some pretty good statistics about what's good and what's not. So somebody takes a very, very just dangerously early list, like the day 1 list, and like, oh, look, Teamer Energy, cool. Or Teamer Marvel, I should say. It wasn't just Energy. Okay, I'll play that. So then more people are like, okay, that's clearly the top deck after 1 day of statistics, and then more people show up with it. So I mean, let me put it this way. 50 people show up with a hyper good deck, and then 1,000 people show up with a pretty good deck. Guess which one's going to make it to the top 16? Or I should say, which deck is going to be shown more in the results of the top 16? It's going to have a higher win percentage just based on sheer numbers, just probability. I mean, whether your opponent's deck is better or not, there's still draw luck, there's still play decisions, and there's still getting mana screwed, 11% of the time or whatever. So it will appear overrepresented. So then on every list, Marvel is the top deck and zombies. It looks like Marvel and zombies, that's it. Those are the only 2 decks that exist. Kind of funny when you look at my win rate with Mono White Combat Specialist. That deck is insane. That deck just crushed every single Marvel deck. I've never lost to a Marvel deck at F&M. Never has happened. Or I should say lost a round. I clearly lost a game, but I've never lost a full round. So then everybody keeps looking at the list and it's like, okay, it's solved. It's homogenous. That's the only deck. Or these are the only 2 decks. Look at the top 10. There's only 2 decks in it. Because people are already looking at the list. So people looking at the list and then playing the deck makes the list look even more solved, which makes more people play it, and it's a feedback loop, like they said, a feedback cycle, where a deck, quote, appears more dominant than it would otherwise, which leads to an even greater percentage of play. So if I were to translate that into not so polite corporate speak, netdeckers are rooting the game, and also they're idiots because they're working off of inaccurate information. A deck is overrepresented, it's not possible to disentangle win percentage from metagame percentage, it makes the format look solved when it's not. I mean, everything they just said. In fact, just to make this painfully clear, they have another paragraph of just reiterating what they said. While we acknowledge that most players would like in-depth statistics on the metagame, providing that level of detail can quickly lead to the perception of a stale or solved metagame, regardless of whether there's ample room for the format to evolve. In other words, if there's a better deck out there, it's not going to look like it because it's not making it to the top 10 list every day, is it? But that's because everybody's copying each other, so everybody's making the illusion of that being the top deck become a thing on the actual statistics. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or as they put it, a feedback cycle or feedback loop. That is exactly what it is. They are 100% accurate about everything they've said in this article. So then they go on to say, stuff like, these deck lists aren't intended to be a substitute for that level of detail, literally like which decks won, here's the numbers, just here's a number dump. Rather, they're to give players an idea of what they might face and a place to look for new ideas. So in other words, stop freaking netdecking, or at least pick something that's not perceived as the top deck. My God, at least play something you like. You know when the Eldrazi Winter happened in Modern? Most of the people playing that deck said, I'm only playing it because it wins. I hate this deck. I hate everything about this deck. Like, yes, I'm playing it because I want to win, but I hate this deck. That's how most netdeckers operate. They're like, I don't even enjoy this deck. I don't like the mechanics. I don't like the land base. I don't like the decisions. I don't like anything about it, but, well, it's the top deck, which they're wrong. I mean, that's why Wizards is correcting this. They're correcting the information because these people are wrong. The deck is overrepresented because of a feedback loop. So under the new system with the new change, new and unique decks are far more likely to appear, and it's our goal to foster that creativity and innovation rather than stifle it. 100% hitting it out of the park on this one, Wizards. They are so reading reality correctly, it's unbelievable. You may have noticed that's not usually their specialty. So they said over the past 6 months, so they knew something was really messed up in Standard, especially for 6 months, we've had extensive conversations about what we can do to improve the experience of playing Magic in general, not even just online, in general, just playing Magic as a game, examining everything from our process to our design philosophies, which, by the way, if you didn't see the last update, they made some drastic changes to that, and the way we communicate and remain engaged with our players. Yeah, cut the SGW liberal crap, okay? It has nothing to do with your company. Let me give you that little hot tip. Bring that one up in a board meeting. I'm sure the purple-haired SJW dumbasses that you keep hiring will just approve that one wholeheartedly. Anyway, they said there's no one answer, blah, 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 but we think this will work. That might be a little bit of paraphrasing. So, let's get back to Kevin from Rogue Deckbuilder's stupid temper tantrum. I mean, literally, go watch the video. I am defining it exactly as it happened. That is a very accurate description of his video. My 4-year-old niece is more calm and civil when, like, I don't know, when Bubble Guppies is a rerun. And for a 4-year-old, that is their whole damn world, okay? So Kevin's argument was, holy crap, Wizards is disconnected from their player base. They don't get it. We need more information. We need accurate information. They're trying to hide the truth. They're just trying to stop people from netdecking, which is part of the game, and blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, I hate to see what his reading comprehension score would be on the ACTs. It worries me. What they are saying here is, no matter if you're netdecking or not, no matter if you're preparing to anti-netdeck, you're looking for what beats what's popular in the meta. We want to improve the accuracy of the information. We want a more realistic picture of what you might face at a GP, a Pro Tour, or most importantly, your local gaming store. By making the decks different by at least 10 cards, they're outlining here's the top 5 archetypes, not just here's the sheer win ratio, because when people look at the sheer win ratio, it's skewed. People keep confusing tournament results with the reality of what decks are the best. They are two completely different things. Now, I will say that the results of a Pro Tour, that's stupid. That's one day and it's like, what, 1,000, 2,000 people? You cannot say, okay, the top deck that won is the top deck. First of all, that's one match. It is literally one round from being the second place deck. So you can't just turn around and say that deck's better. No, I mean, come on, the human factor, decisions, luck. Oh my God. But then you take a step back and go to MTGO, which is daily and based on like 10,000 games or something absurd like that. Okay, that's a little bit more representative. It's more people, it's more games, it's faster paced, and it's updated every single day. That's better than any Pro Tour GP results will ever be. So toss those out the window. Let's look at this. This is the premier list of what is the best decks. Oh, pardon, what are the best decks? There is no better place to get accurate information about what the top most powerful decks are than this list, with the exception of the self-fulfilling prophecy feedback loop, where people are like, I'm lazy, I'm a net decker, I just want to win, which on MTGO, who cares? You can't even talk with the damn person. They're not sitting across from you. They didn't pay $5 to sit there and play F&M with you. It's very impersonal. If you win, 80% of your games, you shouldn't even feel bad about how the other person is doing, what their feelings might be. It's freaking MTGO. You think I log into MechWarrior like Call of Duty? God, I used to play that. And care about me just stomping other people and being infinitely better than them? No, I don't care. It's an online game. They're not sitting in front of me. I don't know them and I don't see them every week. So, since there's more net deckers online than there are in person, by far, people just look at the list, oh, that's the best, I'll play it, boom, and then the next week, there you go, the list is even worse. It overrepresents one deck or two decks or certain archetypes that are like one card away, so they look like a different deck. Like even, Teamer Energy versus whatever the other energy does, Bant or something, I think that was the other deck. It's the same damn deck. It's removal, stall, energy generation, and creatures. Like it's the same deck. So that whole it's off by 2 cards, but it's the same deck thing. The whole we're gonna fix that by making them at least 10 cards different. It's exactly what they need to do to fix it. So all they're doing, to reiterate, is giving people more accurate information about what the top decks are. Instead of here's some raw numbers, I hope you interpret it correctly, and then clearly people do not. It's here's actually what the top 5 decks are. Now that whole thing that they kept saying randomly selected, and then they used the term top performing deck almost as many times. I'm a little confused about that. If they're just going to pick out a deck that they think looks neat and then put it on the list and then make that try to generate the perception that that's a very highly competitive deck, I don't know about that, but do you really think they would do that? Like some tier 3 garbage that just looks kind of neat and then they'll throw it on the list? No, they said in the most telling sentence, they'll be presenting a random selection of top performing decks. So it's guaranteed to be a top performing deck, but within that, they're going to tweak it a little bit to be different-ish. It won't just be the same crap over and over and over because, like I said, feedback loop. Really can't make this any clearer. So once again, Kevin's like, no, they're trying to lie. They're spreading false information. This won't prepare people correctly to face what the real top decks are. And it's all Wizards' fault because they actually are printing, single decks that dominate or 2 decks that dominate. Now, the problem with that is I see where his philosophy comes from. That absolutely was true. Nothing could beat the Saheeli Rai combo and whatever the other one was. I feel like it was actually Marvel, wasn't it? I don't remember. I don't care. Honestly, anything with blue-white spirits was pretty damn unbeatable at the time, so yeah. But if you look at these lists, they will always paint a worse, more depressing, more inaccurate picture of the meta. It'll say, oh, look, this is always winning. No, it's always winning because people keep playing it. So yes, making the list an actual list that actually shows different decks that are actually performing really well is a better preparation for F&M, a better preparation for anything. It's just a better read on the community, the game, and everything, and it is going to stop people from just playing one deck over and over and over. If they take away here's the sheer win percentage, here's the top 10 exactly precisely unfiltered, unmodified, yeah, I mean, it's going to stop people from playing a deck too much. It is going to have that effect, and that's good. You need change. I mean, I'll go back to the Eldrazi Winter example. People were complaining about mirror matches. So, I mean, obviously people were complaining if they weren't running the deck because they were complaining that the deck was unbeatable, and their deck didn't stand a chance in hell against it. It was too fast, too powerful. But then the people actually playing the deck were complaining about nonstop mirror matches. This is boring. I hate this. This is stupid. I played against Eldrazi 4 times in a row. I can't use skill and deck building and innovation to win. I have to rely on luck because we're both literally playing the same damn deck. And then it comes down to who goes first because that's like a 40% advantage in a mirror match. In fact, with that deck specifically, I would even say it's like a 70% advantage. So who wins the Modern Tournament when the Eldrazi deck was big? Pretty much whoever won the most coin flips. I don't need to tell you how unbelievably stupid and unhealthy that is. So for them to try to drive people away from, okay, here's an inaccurate picture of it, looks like this deck is good and everything else sucks, everybody play this deck, then nobody has fun. It's not, oh, you play the top deck and then you win a bunch. No, you get a bunch of mirror matches and you stand a lot less chance of winning based on skill. So we need deck variety to make Magic healthy, okay? That's one of the absolute top reasons that I'm against net decking. The higher the variety, the better. If everybody just copies the top 1 or 2 decks, then you get the situation we're in where people perceive that the top 2 decks are unbeatable when in reality there's better decks out there. They're just not making it to this alleged top 10 list. So they're fixing it. I mean, what? Oh, God, Kevin is just so stupid. It just hurts. It burns. He thinks this is just Wizards announcing, we're going to lie to you and post inaccurate statistics so that you stop net decking and so that we confuse you. Yay! That is not remotely what's going on. That's not remotely what's wrong with or correct with Magic right now. It's just so wrong. It's just, I don't understand how anybody could be that stupid. I just don't. Then again, reading some of the replies on Reddit, he's not alone. Some people are unbelievably stupid, but quite a few people in that post were getting it. They were understanding it. They're like, no, I get this. They're fixing it. I get it. So hopefully you guys get the logic behind this. If you don't, feel free to ask a question in the comment section. I will be damn quick to answer it because we need accurate takes on this, accurate information, and accurate reads on the community and what's wrong with the game and what's going on with the game. Yeah, putting puzzles together and patterns and logic are kind of my thing, so yeah, might want to hit that subscribe button if you want actually accurate information about Magic. So please, everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, the Wizards, whatever feedback email thing, I don't know what it is, it's somewhere. Everywhere, I don't care where it is, Mark Rosewater's blog, I don't care, let them know that you support this if you do. If you don't, I'd love to hear why because, well, you're wrong and I'll tell you why. So hopefully this will dispel some of this misinformation about this announcement because everything they said is accurate, the actual fix is an actual fix, and the problem that they stated is a problem. They're not trying to cover up for themselves that, oh, they designed the standard meta so poorly and they push certain cards so there actually is just one deck that wins and everything else sucks. No, it really is a feedback loop, it really is caused by net deckers, and it really is people's own stupidity. Well, that's about all I got to say about this topic. Do have to add Kevin from Rogue Deckbuilders. How about you just pick one? Just pick one. Just, is net decking good or is rogue decking good? Which one should people do? The day he picks a side, I will have a heart attack because he just loves playing both sides. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next video.